Okay. That's okay. Oh, really? Just you are not.
As I continue to
I mean, this is pretty cut and dry. It looks like
there we go. All
it looks
right.
like sponsored by Rory is just going for a wombo, and then but this is a sort of weird ban. This 2-cop ban from well, I guess it's not too weird. They have a support picked up, so I'm gonna backtrack that statement. I was gonna say Stukov would be a great pickup for their own team, but they've already picked up a support. Okay, so you just don't want the silence to set up more wombo, right? I mean, now they're just thinking stacking circles. What circles can I take away to lessen this wombo coming out of sponsored by Rory? But that's an all-in strategy, right? You have to be level 10, and you can't be so far behind that you can't fight, or if you're 2 levels behind, by the time you hit level 10 and get that wombo, if you can't make anything happen with it, it is a little bit of a risky comp. But actually, gets into like where you can actually argue for GAZLOWE a little bit. I think he holds up pretty well on these the ABC points, the objectives on this map.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
he just
if
has a
there's
lot of presence. If he has time to
exactly.
set up and he's not pressured, it can be really difficult to break.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the one thing, not the one thing, but that's GAZLOWE's expertise, right? Is being able to set up those areas that you just try to own. And when you have to own an area, as long as you do on Volskaya Foundry, you know, it kind of makes sense. Like we joke about, I'm known for joking about the Proteus in a lot of situations, but like in this situation, something like GAZLOWE totally could work out. So
I'm just curious to see, are these... Oh, so let's talk about Cassia Gul'dan is an interesting combination coming out of first pick GAZLOWE. Gul'dan, I think, is excellent. He just does a ton of sustain damage. He can stay on the points a long time. It's sort of obvious what his benefits are, and he's usually prioritized fairly highly on this map. Cassia seems a little odd, though, right? They don't have too much auto attack coming out of sponsored by Rory, which is usually where you think of Cassia being strong, into specific auto attackers. Maybe they're anticipating something, or maybe they have a different style of Cassia already planned out. I'm interested to see either way.
well, now that's really interesting, right? Because now into the Cassia, you're putting in the Kerrigan, who, you know, has more than just the auto, but she does depend a lot on getting her autos off for a lot of situations. So, like, that's an interesting pickup on that side of things. Also rounding out with the Deckard Cane, which I definitely don't hate. You scatter those potions all across any of the capture points. You got a couple in lanes. Help GAZLOWE out while he's
Stay
doing
while and
GAZLOWE
listen.
things. Exactly.
Stay while and listen. Then you got the Maelstrom with Kerrigan. The thing I would say about this team from Sponsored by Rory that maybe is a weakness, I don't know how easy it would be to exploit, would be that they do almost all exclusively spell damage. They don't really have an auto attacker, so now you have the Cassia. So now I'm interested. Do they just think Cassia is strong into this wombo? Do they think she's strong into GAZLOWE maybe? Not really sure. So it's interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see. But looking at Mosh, Ring, Stay While and Listen, Maelstrom, Grab a Bomb, GAZLOWE bombs.
All the
It's not
bombs.
somewhere you want to be. All the bombs.
You don't
And
want
then
to be
just
anywhere
like
near
really
those bombs.
solid coming out of first pick GAZLOWE. Like lots of top tier picks. The Cassie is the only thing that's like a little off,
funky,
but I
yeah.
would say otherwise these are like some really high tier picks and a well executed draft. I mean, getting Blaze last pick. Blaze is unbelievably strong still. Malfurion almost objectively the strongest healer,
Yeah.
or at least the best all around, good at all situations healer. Garrosh is so difficult to deal with, you know. So it just I wonder what will prevail here, you know, memes or actual tier lists.
Yeah, it's gonna depend on Ager bombs being able to you know, run that GAZLOWE as well as first pick GAZLOWE can. And it's a hard thing to pick off. I think actually, you know, in that regard, both teams have an odd pick. If you take out the GAZLOWE, you're left with actually a really solid team on the side of sponsored by Rory.
I was just thinking Jaina, Kerrigan, ETC, like roaming into a lane, that's a brutal to get ganked by, you know?
All right, but with that, we're going to have to see how this game ends up going in the long run. Starting on the blue side, we're going to have first pick GAZLOWE. We're going to have Cass on the Kazuya. Funny enough. Absolved on Garrosh. Airsick on Gul'dan. Negan on Blaze. And Deity Minion on Malfurion.
And on the right side, we have sponsored by Rory. We have Kooks playing ETC, Acre Bombs on GAZLOWE, Aura playing the Jaina, Park 555 playing Deckard Cain, and Star Fox 64. Oh, such a good game. Playing the Ghost Skin Kerrigan, and everyone's headed towards mid. I don't think that they really want to take a skirmish here from first pick GAZLOWE this early in the game. It seems tempting to throw someone in with a Garrosh, but I mean, the amount of stuns and bursts coming out on sponsored by Rory is terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm actually really surprised that GAZLOWE has opted to start this match in that mid lane. We saw Blaze kind of go over to the bottom lane right off the bat, getting a little bit of advantage on that soak. I'm going to imagine the two of those are going to be in a constant matchup during the rest of this game. While the members of both teams rotate to the top, both attempting just to clear out a couple lanes, not really trying to make any drastic moves just yet.
Well, it looks like it's going to really immediately become apparent that sponsored by Rory has way superior wave clear presence here. They're already almost a half wave ahead of first pick GAZLOWE, and there are, with both teams rotating onto the camps, sponsored by Rory is just straight up ahead in the wave clear already, which is a strong determining factor in early game both Sky.
Yeah, absolutely. You get those lanes pushed out very early. That way, when the capture point markers do start to play in, you don't necessarily have to be worried about cleaning up those lanes as much as your opponent does. Both teams picking up the turret camps in preparation of those capture points, those turrets being extremely valuable too. Sometimes underestimating how much just a little bit more poke damage can assist in pushing off the enemy team just for a bit. Go ahead.
I really like what sponsored by Rory is doing here, because they just know they have the superior wave clear. They have like the gank-oriented team, but it would seem tempting to be super aggressive with the Kerrigan early, but they know they've got to get to 10. GAZLOWE's just taking it easy. GAZLOWE's doing a great job just mitigating Blaze as much as he can on bottom, and they're just winning the wave clear game, getting to 10 and staying slightly ahead. They're not trying to take anything crazy, and they know where the strength of this team lies. They're not going to take an unnecessary risk. They'll try to catch Gul'dan here in the top lane when they think they have an opportunity, but actually they don't end up getting him. He takes a better position. Starfox getting thrown in, and a two-person root. Starfox falling to the 4-man in top right before the spawn, too.
First blood, Kerrigan. Kerrigan kind of showing, you know, kind of the pitfalls of a pick like that. She is incredibly squishy, and so if you do have enough people targeting her, she's going to go down extraordinarily quickly, which is not necessarily what you want to happen right before the spawn points. Luckily, this early in the game, death timers aren't that terribly long, so she's going to rejoin quite quickly. And actually, sponsored by Rory, even being 1% down, we managed to get the first 12% on this capture point in this game. Cook's trying to make something happen, making a little bit of space over on first pick GAZLOWE. Starfox 64 getting in, going to have to be careful not to get jumped on like they were earlier in this match.
Yeah, Starfox missing the combo there, but it's alright. They still managed to push them off the point, and now GAZLOWE's getting set up, and they have their turret down. Jaina going down to clear the bottom lane quickly, but you have to be careful. If they can see, enemy team can see you casting a Blizzard on the wave, they know you've got no Blizzard here for 15 seconds, so it looks like there is going to be engagement. Exalted way far forward, Park getting caught. The self-combo missing on Garrosh. Decker Kane out of position, but not being punished for it. Coops doing a good job on the front line. 3-man power slide, Exalt taking a lot of damage. Funds is going off, but wow, the counter damage.
The power bars on Sponsored by Rory just melted in an instant.
Yeah.
At first, Cooks went in, had that 3-person slide that, you know, those stuns are insanely valuable. First pick GAZLOWE though, saying we know how to get around that. Jaina was still, as you mentioned before, showing on bottom, hearing those waves. And first pick GAZLOWE were able to take advantage of that body not being present and are going to try and get the upper hand here on this capture point. Also grabbing now the turret camp that has respawned. So one used already on their side, and they're going to have another ready in just a second. Members of Sponsored by Rory coming in, though, trying to reclaim this point. We're going to have to see if they can do it.
Oops, getting caught and actually getting thrown in, then the follow-up route. An easy pick coming out of first pick GAZLOWE, and Starbucks needs to be careful, and the first Triglav Protector gonna be coming down for Starbucks. Garrosh manning the helm, Alperian jumping in the gunner seat. Gonna be looking to get some value on this front wall here.
Yeah, they, first pick GAZLOWE already has a 1-level lead over Sponsored by Rory, and now with this Protector, hoping to get on their way to 10, possibly even getting it depending on how they play the cards. Rotating up to top, going to try to get at minimum this gate down and then see how far they can continue to push in this lane. Blaze and GAZLOWE are occupied on bottom, so this is 4 folks on each side, although 2 are in a Triglav on the side of first pick GAZLOWE. We're going to see they are already after the mana well, already down. We're going to have to see if they want to commit any further, or if they're going to start backing away from this.
Kerrigan taking a lot of damage from the gunner itself, and Aura also having to back up a little bit. I mean, this all started happening, and it was really funny because I was talking all about how Sponsored by Rory was playing so safe, and then Kerrigan went for the 1 pick, which I honestly thought was a safe pick. Oh, TC might be able to slide there. Looked like a safe pick, trying to get the kill on Gul'dan. Resulted in a double kill, and then now they've been fighting just from a little bit behind the whole time, which is difficult because, like I said, they want to focus on getting to 10. They are about to hit 10, but they're not too far behind. About a level, 10 to 11 is definitely a fight you can take when you have a team that's like, we are all about the level 10. We are all about the wombo combo. I really hope that's what we see.
Yeah, we're gonna just have to see. They don't have much left to gain. So if they start to play around maybe some of their structures to help with damage, they'll get that 10 easily, which that's now going to hit Maelstrom, Ring of Frost, picking up on the side of Sponsored by Rory. And we're gonna see if they're going to want to force a fight now and try to get some kind of advantage over their opponents, since they've been down quite a bit during this map so far. Good to note that first pick GAZLOWE still does have that healing ward that they picked up from the support camp. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that and see how they plan to utilize it. They rotate down to the mid lane. ETC getting flipped by Absolved. Can they back away? Going to power slide right on out of there, be rejoined by the rest of Sponsored by Rory.
ETC is so good in Nagara for exactly that reason. I absolutely love that. I love the all-in super wombo coming out here. Sponsored by Rory, but I think actually I thought it was a weird pick, but now I'm seeing it seems genius to me. The Valkyrie coming out of Cassia to interrupt probably Mosh and stay a while and listen, either or, I think. So,
yeah,
or just to pull Deckard in.
If you have a standstill target, that's a prime candidate for Valkyrie. But even before that could happen, Kerrigan and ETC do go down. Stay a while and listen comes out, taking 2 members of first pick GAZLOWE to sleep. But Decker Kane, that is not enough, and he goes down as well. And that is 3 members on the side of Sponsored by Rory gone within a few seconds.
Yeah, that was just an extremely risky invade that we just didn't sort of really catch on that they were doing that, because it was 2 levels down. They were about a level and a half down at the time, but still kind of an overzealous engagement trying to steal away that turret. It would have been good for them. They would have had 2 turrets and been able to get on this point B, and with the GAZLOWE plus 2 turrets, I think that was probably the thought process. This is where we win. We get GAZLOWE plus 2 turrets, we get a big wombo on the point, but they will all be alive. 30 seconds coming in on Maelstrom, 25 on Ring, so they are going to be looking to fight over this B point.
Yeah, first pick GAZLOWE going to try to get a bit of map pressure in the top lane right before this starts. Having their siege camp. We're gonna have both teams now having to meet here. Sponsored by Rory has a decision to make. Do they even want to attempt to fight for this or not? GAZLOWE says you're gonna fight whether you're gonna like it or not. Valkyrie does come out and ends up getting Cooks. Cooks able to power slide away, and are they able to get away? So far it is looking like yes. No members down just yet on the side sponsored by Rory. And that's gonna leave first pick GAZLOWE being able to cap point B here on Volskaya Foundry. Still have a turret in their arsenal if they choose. Right now, sponsored by Rory, going to play the safe game, soak a bit, see if they can get 13 hopefully before attempting to engage over this point. First pick GAZLOWE though, wanting to start that game a little bit sooner than sponsored by Rory is looking for.
It seems like first pick GAZLOWE is unable to punish Park, even though Garrosh seems to be catching Decker Gain and throwing him into the midst of first pick GAZLOWE. He just doesn't take too much damage, just slurs, casually walks away, puts on his triangular cube, and isn't really punished. I think that is integral to the success of first pick GAZLOWE here. They want to isolate Decker Gain, then maybe even pull him further back with the Valkyrie, and they need to finish him off quickly. There, it's going to be a bit of a skirmish. They do get the Garrosh trap and the Jaina combo right on top of Decker Gain. He does go down. Then we have the big combo coming out, trying to hit the wombo, but way too late. It just absolutely melted as the Triglav projector came down.
The members are sponsored by Rory, seemingly vanishing the thin air in the matter of a blink of an eye, as first pick GAZLOWE gets their second Triglav protector for this game. Jaina ended up backing away, going to wait for their team members to respawn before trying to defend this too much. So Aura will have to be careful of this push. It's really easy for a Triglav to simply come in and stun you a bit, or for a Blaze to come in and pull off the jet propulsion just like that. And Jaina goes down as soon as her team members are able to rejoin.
This is actually crazy. Agerbomb's got to be careful of this guy protector. I'm just sitting here. Kooks is actually taking a lot of damage. Negan getting the stun off, and he just absolutely melts. They're gonna attempt to end with this protector, just back up and recoup. 4-level lead going for first pick GAZLOWE. I'm looking at this team and I'm like, there's nothing about this click to me until right now, and this ETC will never get a mosh off in this game, because look at the team that first pick GAZLOWE has constructed. It is a genius anti-wombo game, while the Valkyrie pulling Starfox in, absolutely getting melted, just getting destroyed, Park taking a ton of damage. You have Horrify, Taunt, Valkyrie, Bunker, Twilight Dream.
Yeah, that's a
in
lot
what
of,
way are you gonna wombo me? In what way are you gonna wombo me? No way, because you're taunted, you're feared, we're all in the bunker, you're silenced, you're pulled away. Everything about this team is about dismantling this carefully planned attack that sponsored by Rory is trying to execute. I don't even know if they've done it on purpose, but and looking at the game and now how it's playing out, it only became apparent to me as I look at the skill set. So all of these heroes have so many skills that just absolutely shut down sponsored by Rory's ability to just kill everyone with one big combo, which is all they're trying to do.
Yeah, with that said, I mean, ETC with that mosh pit, they're gonna need a 5-man if
it's gotta be a 5-man.
Sponsored by Rory is planning to do on anything. But you're right, with so many tools on the side of first pick GAZLOWE, it does seem to be looking quite grim. Starts to fuck 64, almost caught out of position, ends up going around the back way to join the rest of the team. And at this point, sponsored by Rory, still waiting for that level 16. GAZLOWE soaking in the bot lane, trying to see what they can do to help with that level disadvantage, which now they finally have picked their talents. Level 16 down to even talent here. Can they possibly get the juke onto Negan? Bunker does come out to protect them for a little bit longer, but can they finally get a pick that might be able to turn this around?
Oh, he's not taking quite enough damage, and the Valkyrie gonna pull in Star Fox. She just gets absolutely deleted. It's so unfortunate. They did have the nice catch, and I was just about to say seconds before that, the most concerning tool on the side of First Pick GAZLOWE, if I'm on Sponsored by Rory, is the bunker. Yeah, all the other stuff is really good, but bunker is really difficult to deal with. You either need to make Blaze use it, or you need to kill him. And then, only then, are you safe to sort of maybe then get a multi-person mosh or something along those lines and execute your game plan.
Exactly, and it takes so much to even get down that bunker, and if the rest of the team is close by, even just in another lane, it stalls just enough for them to rejoin, and Blaze comes out, you know, healthy as ever, not really
we just
clearing the
saw
world,
it, you know?
It's really difficult to deal with. We're about to hit level 20 for First Pick GAZLOWE, saying, you picked our GAZLOWE away from us, but it doesn't matter. We have other heroes in our toolkit that we can use to win this match. We're going to have to see if there's anything that Sponsored by Rory can do to stall this game out a little bit. Maybe find a situation where they can get their own protector, have a little bit of room to breathe, even though they don't get too much structure damage on it. The fight's about to take part. Two heroes down.
Silence. Just a preemptive silence and bunker. They didn't even have to pop it, but they just did. Just to absolutely delete it. Wow, Starfox just going in with the all-in 4v1. Can he do it? No.
You tried. An effort was made.
Valiant as heck effort, I gotta say.
A little bit of mechanical, but now... Alright, so 5 members down, Sponsored by Rory. This is, I suppose, in a way, that breath that they needed to reset, but maybe not in the manner that they were hoping for. And we're gonna see First Pick GAZLOWE just going in on this keep, hoping to get these structures down while Sponsored by Rory is still coming back. They do have the objective already. Malfurian's just hanging out, not a care in the world. Doing the spray, hanging out. Pass and Absolve going to grab this turret to assist now that they know that the members of Sponsored by Rory are going to be rejoining soon.
I know Eagerbomb's taking a ton of damage from those catapults near the core. Is this game really 100% over? I don't think so. Well, this is the thing about Volskaya. Well, they gotta be careful. Sponsored by Rory here. GAZLOWE's not yet with them. They are very far forward. If First Pick GAZLOWE picks up on this, could be bad. Kooks getting thrown in, double stun out on Aura, and Kooks Aura taking a ton of damage. Negan engaging a nice 2-person stun into the taunt. We have ETC sliding in the 3-person.
The moving! Stay a while and listen.
Oh, the moving mosh! It's actually working! But the huge horrify goes out. ETC gets deleted. Starfox trying to get some traction, just unable to. Oh, it was close. They had it. The moving sail wow, and listen, the moving mosh. It was all very cool. It looked like they almost had it, but just the tool set for First Pick GAZLOWE was so deep. So was this game over before that fight? No. Is this game over now? Yeah.
Yeah, we still have 10 seconds before Jaina's up, then followed by GAZLOWE. Even if they were able to come back sooner, this is a level 20 protector and the entirety of First Pick GAZLOWE on the core, and that is going to be a first GG to First Pick GAZLOWE.
Could not carry.
Surprise.
Great game. That was First Pick GAZLOWE's map pick, so I think that maybe that was even something they had prepared. Anyway, Cassia, 10 kills, 16 assists, 0 deaths. That was 26 kills to 1. Really solid coordination. And I gotta say, there was a lot of like comp things and counter things that I felt like were going on there, but really ultimately, First Pick GAZLOWE played absolutely just really tight. They were behind on that early wave clear, but they didn't allow that to affect their game. They just continued to soak. They matched as well as they could, made sure that they got the early punish when sponsored by Rory, tried to be aggressive, and then they just built from there and was won little by little by little, death by 1,000 cuts, and it was they didn't make any mistakes in that sort of prolonged process. So, excellent play coming out of them.
Absolutely. I do wish that GAZLOWE on the side of sponsored by Rory maybe put a bit more focus on preparing ahead of time what I remember Dreadnought calling it the little village in HTC. Yeah, setting up that area, getting ready to all in protect that, because that's something that he does strive with as a character. And so
similar to a little probe that we know. Yes, I mean, that's GAZLOWE's strength, is set up on a point, really guard it. If you can, hide some turrets in weird geometrical ways where there's things between them, that's what you want to do. But it was tough. They fell behind early, and I felt like that really put them on the back foot. And playing from the back foot as GAZLOWE is really difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. However, we still have a second game on our hands that sponsored by Rory can absolutely come back from and at least tie up this series tonight. I did want to quickly shout out the Neat Detective. Thank you for the bit cheer. I appreciate it. Oops, I didn't mean to make that player a referee. I meant to make them captain. I'm sorry, we're just setting up the lobby over here. Game number 2 is going to go to Sky Temple. I was in the middle of a sentence. The Neat Detective, thank you for the bit cheers. Absolutely appreciate it. I hope you all are enjoying this Nexus Gaming Series Division A game. Having a good time here. If you haven't met my friend Fear,
I'm here.
You might have seen him on such things as HCC Open Division. Casting things over there.
Heroes Type Amateur Series as well. I'm absolutely chomping at the bit for those to get started up again. I'm super excited for all things Here's the Storm esports related. Mid-season brawl, all that coming up. Just getting the game ready here. And
mid-season brawl is going to be extremely interesting. I think this is the first time going into mid-season brawl that we know all the roster swaps going on afterwards, which it makes it fun, but also kind of awkward. But it's still going to be some incredible games taking place. I think now we're 2 weeks out, 1 week out. We're getting there. We're getting close.
Yeah, I was meaning to check today. It's the kind of thing where I've had to put it out of my head until it comes up, because if I think about it too much, I just get really excited and then it's not coming fast enough. So, I'm so excited for that and for all the upcoming stuff. The Western Clash going to be in the US this time. Oh, just so much stuff going on.
Yep, we're just waiting for the teams to confirm that they are ready before we start this next game for you all. What are some... So we saw, like, the pretty classic Garrosh Malfurion come out last game. Are there any extremely standard things that you think maybe sponsored by Rory should be focusing on going into this draft?
I think often what's emphasized on Sky Temple is globals, which is important. Globals and boss control are very important on Sky Temple, and honestly, they work. So don't do anything too crazy. I don't really like the all-in type draft of the last game, so I'd like to see something more diverse. I think Falstad specifically here is really strong. Don't want to see him picked up super early because he has weaknesses that are exploitable, but sort of knowing where you can land Falstad in this draft on this map seems like sort of a linchpin to me. He's not the most powerful hero, but the amount of different value that he offers that's unique to this map is really strong.
Absolutely. I'm somewhat surprised at the Morales first ban on the side of first pick GAZLOWE, so that might be something targeted on the side of sponsored by Rory. being able to have medevac to quickly get between. It is a bit of a larger map, so perhaps the mobility is something they're afraid of, having those tools, or again, targeted. It's hard to say. We are going to have Garrosh banned on the side of Sponsored by Rory, getting those taunts, those flips, those stuns out of this game entirely.
Maybe they're keen to it. Juice Pirates.
First pick Tyrande. Hello?
I mean,
I'm
so
feeling something, and it's.
I want to say, like, so you're playing a pick comp, you know, like, you know, okay.
Scratch. You might be
So, like,
wondering
this
how
is-
we got here.
Yeah, you might be wondering how we got here. You decided you want to play a pick comp. First pick. I mean, Tyrande can work. You know, she's got the mark, she's got the stun. The way in which Tyrande works is you play a pick comp. You combine her with other heroes that are good at picking heroes off. This was very popular early in the ancient days of Heroes of the Storm. Tyrande was picked quite a bit. She was a very different hero, but similar in style. Often with Kerrigan or something similarly aggressive. So I expect to see something like that. Genji Malf coming out. Malf really strong anti-dive, and Genji gonna be strong into Tyrande.
Yeah, Genji gonna be able to zip and zoom ninja his way back to her, so long as they're relatively close together. Although, depending on the rest of the draft from first pick GAZLOWE, could be punished pretty easily. Again, we already have the taunt removed, but there's one other taunt that still exists in the game, by the name of a one Varian that could potentially replace that role if first pick GAZLOWE is feeling that, wanting the taunt to punish those dives, those trying to get that pick off on Tyrande. But we're gonna have to see how first pick GAZLOWE responds. Had the opportunity to first pick GAZLOWE, didn't take it, but delighted us nonetheless.
That is really a valid, like, very sort of smart with the Varian pick. I don't know if they pick it like right here. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe they'll save it because it really is strong against Genji, and it just it's super easy setup for point and click setup for skill shot picks is like the best thing ever, right? You just one person can point and click, the person is immobilized, and then he had all your skill shots. It's not even a skill shot anymore. Everything has become point and click, and that could work for them. I'm strongly think they should pick a Varian on that 4-5.
Yeah, it'd be interesting for sure. It's something that we actually saw paired, I think, in games last night as well, the Varian with the Tyrande, and then followed up, I'm trying to remember, with some other slow or stun. I don't think it was the Jaina, but if you have at least 3 heroes that can take advantage of, you know, the stun that comes out of Tyrande, and also be able to bait your opponent, that can lead to a lot of kills really quickly. Let's see, Diablo ban from Sponsored by Rory. He's pretty good right now.
I think that's a great ban. You know, like we talked about the Varian a lot, but well, it's new Diablo too.
Yeah.
I don't even know where new Diablo stands. I played a game. I hadn't played him at all. I jumped right into a game. Started horrible. By the end, I was wrecking everything. So I don't know if that's just the scalability of him right now, but he does similar. He performs similarly to what he used to as far as functionality, and he would combo so well with that team coming out of first pick GAZLOWE, Diablo, you know, a quintessential pick hero. So now with so much, look how many tanks are off the table, and there's going to probably be a tank picked up here for Sponsored by Rory, and that Varian's looking good.
Yeah, I was gonna say we have 3 tanks banned. We only have the Blaze on the side of first pick GAZLOWE. We're getting into starvation territory for what's left on the table. So either
deep into those rosters.
If Sponsored by Rory wanted to grab that Variant, if they're afraid of that taunt on the side of first pick GAZLOWE. We still have a Nubarak on the table. Chen's there. I'm not thinking this is Chen. ETC
is up. ETC Variant and Noob. Wow, we don't even have Johanna.
Yeah.
ETC Variant and Noob.
We still have Arthas.
What we're looking at. Arthas is there, so we could see Arthas coming out by Sponsored. coming out sponsored by Rory. Maybe ooh, Stitches Sylvanas. Oh, because this has become a Stitches mouth comp. Oh,
Instalock
okay.
Butcher Uther.
Blaze main tank. Instalock. Oh.
Not messing
I like it.
around. They are down to business.
I like it so much. What a sharp, like, almost feels like a sharp turn, but not really. They're like, we basically exemplified that we're going to do this. Oh, the Medivh counter pick. I love that too. They have a really defensively minded comp here with the Stitches Mouth, Medivh. Oh man, this is all in. And this is all in coming out of first pick GAZLOWE. So a little bit of a coin flip as far as now first pick GAZLOWE has their own version of the meme, but exactly what I said, I love. A little bit of meme, but a lot of weight behind it. Main tank Blaze with the Tyrande Uther Butcher, just absolute wreck you combo versus super defensive comp coming out of sponsored by Rory. Who do you like in this matchup?
You know, for me, first pick GAZLOWE just played so dominantly last game that they already have that mental fortitude, that momentum going into this next game. There's definitely, I think, a little bit of risk over on the side of sponsored by Rory, picking up. You don't often see Sylvanas and Medivh necessarily, and I think having the two of them on one team together, it's going to be interesting to see how they play together. Because usually you have Medivh very often roaming around, keeping an eye on what's going on the map, but Sylvanas also typically doing that, I'm going to stay away from the rest of what's happening. And so when you have two characters that are based like that, no, I assume that Sylvanas is going to stay mainly with the rest of the team, but that's not always where her strong suit is. So I'm interested to see how it plays out, but I am mostly hopeful that, or not hopeful, I am expecting that first pick GAZLOWE ends up taking this game number 2. As they were over on the blue side, Cass is going to be on Tyrande, Absolved on the Butcher, Negan on Blaze, Ursik on Jaina, and Deity Minion on Uther.
And on the right side, we have, sponsored by Rory, we have Sylvanas, played by Aura, Malfurion, played by Park555, Starfox64 heading up the Medivh, Aegerbomb switching over to Stitches, and Kooks on Genji. Does this team have enough team fight damage to perform against first pick GAZLOWE, do you think? Like, looking at it, just Genji, Medivh?
I'm not entirely sure, especially when you...
Wait, whoa, something is going on.
What is this backdooring going on here right now? Very early on. Sniffed out real fast, though. Butcher gonna go in. Now, Park already looking extremely low, trying to get away. Kooks is gonna go in, end up backing up a little bit. That was a juke that first pick GAZLOWE almost seemed to have assumed would happen. Very risky first play on the side of sponsored by Rory, showing that they're not afraid to do something wacky and trying to keep first pick GAZLOWE on their toes.
Is that just like a straight power move? Oh, nice hook coming out on Cass, but Cass taking a lot of damage, but a huge protect coming out of Medivh as Butcher charges in. Is that a power move? Is that just like walking in and sitting down at your boss's desk and being like, I'm the boss now. Look at me. I'm the captain now. This is our keep wall 20 seconds into the game. I don't know. No one died, and it seems even. So I don't even know how that's the case, but
yeah,
it seems like a psychological move.
It is interesting to think about. Was that smart and a power move, or was that risky and a little bit maybe too optimistic? We're going to have to see if sponsored by Rory wants to keep making calls like that for the rest of the game, but for now, they're just going to focus on clearing out these waves, rotating the mid. Got Medivh keeping an eye on things overhead, seeing where Star Fox could potentially help out in these scenarios. Blaze making their way pretty deep into this top lane on the side of sponsored by Rory.
Do you think that sponsored by Rory is gonna try to play this straight up and play the temples, or are they gonna try to get tricky, rotate with Sylvanas and others, and really make first pick GAZLOWE have to match rotations and sort of gum up the temple game, make it not as cut and dry as it usually is? How do you think they're gonna play it?
I think it's going to depend on how much of a level difference there is going into these temple phases. Absolve getting hit by the hook. Tyrande coming in to assist. Absolve still deciding to go in, going to back up a bit.
Nice defensive stun there coming out of gas.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the one thing with the Butcher pick, when we were talking about what's going to pair with that stun to either get a kill or assist. And as soon as I saw the Butcher, I was like, this is great, because you can either stun the target that Butcher's after so that they can't escape. We saw Aura use Sylvanas' escape earlier to cancel out that charge. But you also have the potential to, if Butcher goes in too deep, to stun around him and give him a little bit more time to escape. Absolve going back in again, getting a bit low, but the members of First Pick GAZLOWE still wanting to take this fight. Portal does come out from Medivh. They're trying to get a kill before the members of First Pick GAZLOWE are able to get away.
Wow, and Park 555 hits the root on Absolve, who's charging onto him, just staying cool, getting the shot off. Medivh is extremely close to completing the Arcane Rift talent coming out here. And really, Starbucks making a huge case for Medivh last pick here. They're getting tons of value on the Protects. The Protects are super on point whenever the Butcher comes in, and lots of value coming out of the Arcane Rift ability. So if they complete the Master Touch right here, they're going to start doing a ton of damage. Again, it's super clutch Protect on the Park 555. It's almost like Butcher's done nothing. And Jaina gets a ton of damage out. Wow, Ursic taking a ton of damage on the counter and having to back up. Absolve now isolated and trying to kill Park before he falls, but not managing to do so.
Fook's now coming down to rejoin the rest of the team, hoping to help clean up a couple more of these low health bars on the side of First Pick GAZLOWE. Another pick on the Uther that time around, but that was a great hook from Stitches onto that Butcher, knowing that the rest of the team was backing away and they weren't going to have those defensive capabilities to help get him out of that situation. So really good play there by Sponsored by Rory. I have been surprised so far that Genji has opted to sort of be the solo lane. His mobility obviously helps with that fact. He's able to kind of more quickly get between lanes if he needs to. But it's a very interesting decision. And at one point was trying to get the top temple all by himself, which was an interesting call. So very interesting, very intriguing decisions coming out from Sponsored by Rory. Possibly playing 4D chess that I'm not just fully catching up on yet. But definitely making an interesting game for sure. They've got this wall down in mid. This fort is already down half health. I'm wondering if they want to stick around long enough to try to take it down or push a little further while they're still have a level advantage.
One thing that is not going well for First Pick GAZLOWE, if you look, Butcher only has 14 meat, and it's 6 minutes almost into the game. That's a really tough place to be starting from. I mean, you just have to, even when you're that far behind on your quest, have to sort of just resolve yourself to say like, okay, just gotta get it done. But don't get too wild with the aggression or getting stunned.
By Rory just wanting to get that blaze down. Oh, Sylvanas going down on the bottom though. That is an interesting point about the Butcher, right? How dependent on those meat stacks that he's going to be. And if Stitches keeps landing those hooks and the rest of his team able to follow up and prevent him from finishing that quest, this game will simply snowball and get incredibly hard for First Pick GAZLOWE to come back from.
That being said, they did just make an exchange, and First Pick GAZLOWE got aggressive on bottom and managed to get a pick, and now Absolve's sitting at 42. So, you know, a minute and 30 seconds difference. He's gone up by quite a bit. He's working on a little bit more solid ground there. Gas a little far forward, taking some damage, and Starbucks needs to be careful and pretty low on health.
Yeah, Temple phase now started, sponsored by Rory, getting the first cap on this point. First Pick GAZLOWE trying to see if they can possibly get a kill on Kooks, but he's going to end up zipping away. Negan going in deep. Absolved, hooked, and gorged, but the Ring of Frost prevents sponsored by Rory from escaping. X-Ray comes out. Jaina is going to be the first to fall here. Star Fox also looking extraordinarily low. Portal comes out for the escape, but the rest of Sponsored by Rory says, no, we want to keep fighting with you. You don't need to get out just yet. He's going to go in, hope to get absolved the rest of the way down and continue to remove those meat stacks. But he's getting incredibly low. He's going to have to back away.
23 HP on Absolve there. Kooks also getting extremely low, diving in to Taronda, clearing her quest there. That was some wild team fighting, considering in the end only 2 people died in all those exchanges. But Sponsored by Rory taking a firm hold of this game, getting control of the bottom temple and showing us that this comp actually works. They're bringing the team fight to first pick GAZLOWE. And one thing that I've noticed that has just been also absolutely on point, the Medivh play. Hold that for 1 second. Absolve charging in onto Aura. The Starbox is like always there. Starbox is always there with the protect as soon as the Butcher charge hits. But also Park, when Butcher charge is coming in, Park is just waiting and holding root, and then Butcher charges, and then instant Butcher root there. Butcher was cleansed and was unstoppable, getting silenced. Polymorph coming out onto Butcher, not spreading to anybody. Deity Minion taking a lot of damage. Cass also taking damage in the back line. Extra coming out, getting the double kill. Jaina also falling in that exchange. Aura just trying to stay alive. Butcher looking for anything. This is going to be a 5-0. The X-Strike was sick. It was looking like Uther was trying to position and die so he could start healing out onto Taronda, and Genji is just like, hey, nah.
You're not going to be able to get that done. And now with 4 members down on first pick GAZLOWE, Sponsored by Rory has their eyes set on the boss. They're going to be able to easily take this with Blaze being at that camp in the top lane. We were talking about the potential of maybe some pseudo juicy pirate kind of plays coming out from Sponsored by Rory, but they look like they simply want to fight and are confident enough to take that. The hooks and the gorges from Stitches so far have been instrumental. Aegerbomb is landing those much like it's his paid job, or their paid job, sorry. And with this boss now coming into the bottom lane, level 13 already taken by Sponsored by Rory, this is looking really excellent for them. They have this pressure, they have the mental pressure of saying we can take you in a fight pretty easy. I want to see how far they're willing to push with this right now.
Yeah, I think they're going to go for at least to keep the Gorge coming out onto Taronda. Huge Ring of Frost coming out. The Protect hitting on Medivh, but Sylvanas instantly falling. Now the Protect is not available for Medivh. Portal too late. He's going to fall. And now it's going to be an attempted escape. Aegerbomb's also falling. I thought there was going to be at least to keep, but the boss still knocking on it, but not going to get it to any less than half health. So huge stand there. And let's go ahead and check the Butcher meat, but only 71. They really need to get this pick on Park if they want to start getting his meat factory turning.
Yeah, Butcher really needs to start learning how to make the sausage here. Ice Block coming out just to stall a bit, hoping that Kooks maybe could come up for the defensive assist. But no such luck for the side of Sponsored by Rory. Kooks is going to hang out in this top lane while this temple, both these temples are now available, and it looks like first pick GAZLOWE spreading out to capture them both, get as much value out of this while they can, while they know that there are members on the side of Sponsored by Rory still down, waiting to respawn, and that the team is generally spread out. They're quickly backing away once the Medivh and Genji show up, which is a really great call. There's no reason to play too aggressively unless you know you have the numbers advantage. Level 16 is about to get hit by Sponsored by Rory, also a factor in first pick GAZLOWE not wanting to take those fights too preemptively. So we're going to have to see now with this advantage, now with all members back up, Sponsored by Rory, what is the play they're going to make? Are they going to try to steal? Is there another map type of pressure that they want to place? Or are they simply out for blood at this point?
They should be aggressive onto this temple, because they should know that first pick GAZLOWE should just want to back up here. But of course, Butcher never wants to back up and go all in. But first pick GAZLOWE could concede that temple, get 16, and not lose the top keep. So there's no reason that they would not fight and get 16. Bunker being dropped a bit early. It's a short cooldown, so it'll be back up relatively soon. But there's no reason that first pick GAZLOWE even has to fight for this. I would just, now that they're 16, they should sure they're on even footing, so they should go right ahead. Butcher going to be going in. They're coming out on a Medivh, but the silence comboing, not allowing him to get a protect up or get through the portal. And now this game is all tied up. Big wave coming out on bottom from Sylvanas, however.
Yeah, Sylvanas, now knowing that the rest of the members of First Pick GAZLOWE are on top, this is the one safe time for her to get these giants, help with that bottom pressure. The rest of First Pick GAZLOWE, however, still hoping to keep getting what they can get here in top. They have closed this experience gap that they were down in earlier in this game. So at this point, still focusing on Butcher getting his stacks, currently at 130.
Getting there.
Getting there, nothing too far. This late in the game, you would have hoped your Butcher maybe was closer or, you know, in an ideal world already had it. But Butcher needs to start playing safe. Absolve does love to, that's what Butcher is best at, is diving right in. But there's enough punish on the side of Sponsored by Rory to have to make Absolved question that decision a little bit going forward through the rest of this match. If there's another death, I don't think there's any way that Butcher completes that quest over the course of this game.
Yeah, and I think that First Pick GAZLOWE has a really good power spike at 20, so I think you want to, at this point, try to coordinate your meat and getting level 20, try to play safe, get both. And they have some really strong stuff in the AoE Lamp of the Slaughter, Redemption. There's lots of strong stuff. The Blaze is level 20, upgrade to Bunker is really strong. So if they could hit that double power strike, get your meat and 20 at the same time, maybe try to make something happen there. But it's probably going to be a 20 versus 20.
Absolutely, and structure is pretty even on both sides as well. Boss now being available yet again. At any point, the teams want to risk grabbing that, or if they want to force a fight so they can safely take it later, now's the time to make that play. Both teams coming up on the temple. Will one team have enough to get the first kill in this match? Who will it be? Silence coming out. Starfall also coming out. Malfurion is the first to fall. Roots coming out on Aether Bombs, trying to get out a little bit and make something happen. Polybomb does come out, but they go into the bunker in order to cancel that out. Kooks is driven away from the fight entirely as Sponsored by Rory is falling apart.
Yeah, and really, the difference I've noticed is Absolved hitting the Lambs of the Slaughter really well. Kooks getting in, trying to finish off Ursik, but also going to fall. Absolved at 194, so the meat's going to complete. Look at the big Merc push coming in top. That top wall, that one tower at least is going to fall, and the top wall is going to be taking some additional damage, forcing First Pick GAZLOWE just to retreat a little bit. Medivh keeping an eye on it. Is this tower going to be enough to take a keep? I think Mid-keep
so.
may be threatened, if not completely dead, from holding this middle tower.
That's threat enough, but the members of Sponsored by Rory won't be back in time to contest this temple. For now, that leaves only a couple options, right? Team fights, boss, camp pressure. First Pick GAZLOWE saying, we're going to go in for the fight option of those three. Thank you very much. Not too much coming out of that immediately. They're going to rotate down and start grabbing their siege camp while they can in order to help push back this bottom lane before it gets pushed a bit too far in against their favor. Looks like both teams are positioning. Hook comes out, Negan gets caught, but able to scoot away. Ends up doing the jet propulsion into the enemy team. Absolved caught in the middle of a whole bunch of stuff, but the Ring of Frost coming out with the Starfall. First Pick GAZLOWE saying, you won the team fights earlier, but we've got them now. Butcher, now that with that quest complete, says, I'm ready to fight, you can't stop me. And that is one scary situation for Sponsored by Rory to be in.
I mean, it played out exactly how I said it. Level 20 plus the Butcher Meat quest completed. And even in a more dream scenario, Sponsored by Rory didn't yet have 20 themselves. That fight, 3 people got hit by the Slaughterhouse, which is the AoE into the Slaughter there, and were just completely silenced. And the other 2 members were just dealt with so handily, extremely well executed by First Pick GAZLOWE, and just showing that early in this game, sponsored by Rory was winning, and I was thinking to myself, it just goes to show execution is everything. They were executing so well, the protects were so on point, and then the second half of this game, Negan going in or taking a ton of damage. Gooks is actually going to do just barely avoid getting charged as well. The story of the second half of this game is Butcher getting the picks just enough, just the lamb to the slaughter getting off. Actually, Butcher getting gorged in, big bunker coming out to try to protect the members of First Pick GAZLOWE, but it's looking like they might have enough damage to push to the core here.
Yeah, that was one last chance for Sponsored by Rory to make something happen, but in a very late game, convincing manner. First Pick GAZLOWE going to take the second map of the series, which makes it, I believe, 2-0 for them.
Yep.
So congratulations, First Pick GAZLOWE, on that very decisive victory. I am going to quickly take a look here over at the results of that game. Look at some of these stats. Taronda with that top hero damage. Excuse me. Hello? Taronda confirmed assassin? Pretty sure that's what that is.
There was relatively few owl stacks. Let's put it that way. I was checking them throughout the game, and it wasn't an unusually high stacking owl game. So that's a lot of stun and auto attack damage coming out of that Taronda onto heroes.
Sure, I'm just seeing if one of the members of First Pick GAZLOWE wants to join us for a little bit of an interview before we wrap up tonight. Yeah, you know, I was really, with that First Pick Taronda, sorry, I totally forget if you already talked about this. There was such a danger there, right? But the members of First Pick GAZLOWE were so prepared to protect her, and again, her also being able to protect that Butcher in some capacity with those stuns in case he decided to go in a little bit too far was really well played. We don't see a ton of Taronda, so I always enjoy to see really good Taronda play like that, so perhaps that is inspiring to the folks at home who maybe aren't brave enough to play Taronda, but just to show them this game and convince people on your team otherwise.
Taronda did a good job, though, showing that she does have value on the defensive end. There was one time where Butcher was a little bit caught, and she threw out the defensive stun. It just barely managed to allow Butcher to escape. Again, the Taronda Kerrigan / Taronda Butcher is sort of an old school thing. Uther pairs so well with that. Really, in the end game, it worked extremely well, you know, and they just kept executing on that same point. And like you said, just the ability to transition, because most people, most teams would pick a composition like that and say like, all right, well, this is an aggressive comp, so you've got to be aggressive all the time. We really got to go in on it. And they weren't being so needlessly aggressive that they were being able to be punished. And when they would go in, they'd have contingency plans. And when the opposing team would attempt to punish, they'd have the Taronda follow-up stun, or they'd have the Blaze follow-up stun, or the bunker. It was aggressive, but with a little bit of, you know, padding around the edges. Almost like if you picked an aggressive comp with like a Zarya or someone, it really, I feel like the Blaze especially, really, the defensive capabilities of Blaze worked well for that team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think you put it up better than I can ever say it. So thank you. It doesn't look like we'll be able to get anyone from First Pick GAZLOWE for that interview, so apologies for that. Totally forgot to follow up with the captains beforehand, so I'll hang out for a little bit to see if they change their mind. But in the meantime, Fear, why don't you tell these lovely people, if they want to hear more about what you do, where can they find you at the internet? Where do you stream? What do you stream? What do you stream? Things like that.
When people ask me this now, my default answer is like, oh, I don't do much. But actually, I am Fear. I am the YouTube and Twitch video manager for Hero Sleep Esports. So I do that on the side. I am a caster and a streamer. So you can find my streams at twitch.tv/recurringfear. And you can find me also on Twitter there. I tweet a lot about nonsense and HGC, the heroes scene, when I'm going to be streaming. And also, I'm a caster. I cast NGS with Cat Peach, sometimes with Bahamut. I'm also a signed up caster. Eventually, I'll be not lazy enough to set up all the scenes and everything myself. And also, you can catch me at the Heroes Hype Amateur Series on the Heroes Hype Twitch channel occasionally during the off season. And also, you can catch me casting the HGC Open Division also on the Heroes Hype Twitch channel, which will be coming on Mondays and Tuesdays as soon as the second split of HGC gets started up here. So
awesome. So we actually are going to have players for an interview. So we're going to hop out of this call.
Excellent.
You're gonna have Fear disappear for a little bit. So apologies on that. But we are going to be joined by Cast and Urzik from that last game. So Fear, I will talk to you in just quite a fast second as we join up in that lobby. Let's go to lobby 1. Hop it on in. We'll see him again soon. Don't worry. Let's see. Join in lobby 1. Let's see. Hello, hello.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going? You said you were going to be joined by Urzik as well, right?
Yeah, he's coming.
All right, awesome. So we will wait for that. Fear, you are with us, although your face is bye-bye. I should get a picture of you or something to like...
I just updated my Skype picture. Oh, did you? It's wicked funny. I like just looked right at my camera and made a weird face.
Hello there. Urzik, Cass. Good GGs. Those are some really interesting games. So I wasn't able to see chat during the draft of the first match. How did you feel about GAZLOWE being taken away from you in that first round by Sponsored by Rory?
Hurt. Betrayed.
Hurt, betrayed,
Yeah.
other harsh words.
The team name is not actually First Pick GAZLOWE. Actually, isn't very good.
Yeah, as it turns out, people know what you're gonna pick, and that's a problem.
Okay.
Luckily, you have some other really interesting picks. We did see the Tyrande come out first pick during that last game. Was that something you were worried about them countering, given that it was your very first pick in the game? Or were you just simply that confident that you didn't care when you picked Tyrande? You knew you were going to pick Tyrande and execute.
We were gonna run a Butcher Tyrande blow-up comp, and every other hero with kind of given away what we were trying to do, and Tyrande was the most neutral pick.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, it was really cool to see how Tyrande and Butcher kind of interacted, both Tyrande assisting Butcher and also helping to defend in some situations as well. So that was a joy. Fear, do you have any questions for these two gentlemen who just played their hearts out tonight?
Yeah, I just want to ask, in game 1, specifically, were you aware of the really obvious wombo coming out of the enemy team, and were you drafting to tailor like an anti-wombo? Because we really picked up on, once you were 3 levels ahead, we picked up on the fact that your draft was specifically so strong versus the wombo. You had the taunt, Twilight Dream, Bunker, Horrify, and something else. Was that purposeful or just amazing coincidence?
A lot of it's just like our comfort picks.
Yeah,
For
definitely.
example, I
Okay.
can only play GAZLOWE and Asmodan, and those 2 were banned or taken, so
Okay.
I feel like Kasha was the easiest hero at that point.
Yeah, we settled
Cassian
on
performed
some.
well.
Sorry, yeah, we settled on some comfort. Like I haven't played cooldown in a single game of NGS. I kind of haven't played him in like months, but still know how to play him pretty well. So we knew that they had the wombo, and we're just talking about positioning like Cass, like don't stand near Absolve, don't stand near Garrosh, like because like all he has to do is ETC gets a stun on 2 heroes. That's like a combo, especially like if they let in with the sleep.
Yeah, I mean, you guys just executed that extraordinarily well, so it was hard to tell whether it was just a compositional thing or whether you guys were just executing it flawlessly. But I was very impressed. I really liked it. No, I don't really have any other questions.
Yeah, well, and you have to forgive me because I should have asked before the match. Is it pronounced Urzik, or do you prefer a different pronunciation?
Yeah, Urzik.
Okay,
pretty
cool.
much how I always said it.
Well, Urzik and Cass, now that we've inflated your ego a little bit with all those compliments, I'm going to give the floor over to you for any shout-outs you want to make.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Absolved for being the most boosted player in NA because he's plat 3 in Hero League and we boosted him to Grandmaster 17 in Team League.
Nice.
Oh man, we just give each other. We just like to win each other up. Cass begs us to play Toronto Butcher on a daily basis, and Absolved is no, we're not having it.
Well, now you won with it. You're forever cursed for winning
Yeah.
with it. Enjoy your curse.
All right, well, if that's it for shout-outs, I'll give you a little bit more time if you want. But other than that, again, GG's. Thanks for hanging out, and congratulations on your win today.
Thanks a lot.
And thanks for casting.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime. Thank you so much.
Yeah, cool.
All right.
Congrats.
Thanks.
See, let's rejoin with Fear one more time before we go. There he is, the boy wonder himself. Gone back from the black hole in the Nexus that zipped you up.
Yes.
All right, so it is the end of the season, so there's not really a ton for additional games going on right now, it seems, for Nexus Gaming Series, but thank you so much for everyone who came out, supported these teams. We hope you had a really great time watching this series. And that being said, I believe it looks like I'll probably be hosting Alex Dids after this, who was a Heroes of the Dorm coach. Also good friend, one of the first friends I made while streaming. So good folk over there, writer for Heroes Hearth Esports as well.
Dids by daylight.
Dids by daylight. So I mean, I guess with that said, that's all for the two of us. Thank you again, Fear. Thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Again, this has been Nexus Gaming Series, and we will see you next time. Take care.
Night. It worked good. That was good. We did a good job. I did a little bit of play-by-play, which I don't do. No, I think we did really good. I think we back and forth there really well. We're getting there. So yeah, I mean, you're getting that much better. I'm super fucking out of practice. Probably said like at least 14 times tonight. I guess I usually never say Yeah, I usually am pretty good. I didn't write down the team names. That's what it was. And I kept looking at the stream, being like, because they were weird team names too. Sponsored by Rory. Yeah, there were so many R's. I add R's. I don't drop my R's, but I add them. So I say like, I don't know. Hey dear, yeah. The word bra is the word bra. Bra. Yeah. What time is it?